everybody, how's it going? I'm the Meister, and welcome back to Timbukton in episode 62. In today's episode, guys, we are going to be building the suburban areas around the retail district that we built in the last couple of episodes. So in this area is going to be a little bit newer developments. Not totally new though, like I'm guessing these neighborhoods would have been developed in like maybe the 80s and 90s kind of thing. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a mixture of like older infrastructure and newer, but mostly like neo-eclectic homes that you would typically find in any North American city. So this neighborhood will be complete with an elementary school a little bit later in the episode, a little bit of commercial lining the main roads going around the neighborhood. But for the most part, the innards of this neighborhood will mostly be single-family homes, some apartment buildings. So it'll be a nice mixture of different styles. So as you just saw me place down a couple of apartment buildings, you can see that like they're a little bit of the newer style. I'm not even sure if there's like a term for this style of apartment buildings, but anyway, you guys know the gist of it. So yeah, so sit back and enjoy this episode, guys. It's not terribly long. I didn't want to bore you guys too much with much repetitive content because a lot of this area surrounding the mall is going to look alike. So, you know, the same style of homes. The neighborhoods are going to be very, very similar to one another surrounding the whole mall area. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to feature the entire construction of these types of neighborhoods around the mall, unless you guys want me to. Like, that's perfectly acceptable, but I just want to bring you guys constantly some new content on every episode. So anyway, just maybe let me know on that. But yeah, for that's pretty much going to be it this entire episode. One other thing too is I won't go into like extreme detail like I've done in some other neighborhoods, and that means like placing down fences and putting little props in everybody's backyards and little things like that. I figured I would just pass on those. I don't know. I think that the buildings and stuff that I use in this neighborhood are fairly well propped up. They could probably use some fences, I would agree, but I don't know, maybe in the future when I develop like some really nice neighborhoods, I might spend a little bit more time on the little details. But for now, I'm fairly content with the way that I built everything here. So as you guys might know, I'm pretty terrible with names, and a few episodes ago when I built the mall, I kind of left it up to you guys on what to name the mall. And I didn't really talk about this yet, but I really like the name that was chosen by Rockin' Randy. Now I know Rockin' Randy is actually a pretty big fan. He's been, viewing my videos and commenting for quite a while now, and I know he owns a couple of properties in Timbukton already. And he's actually given a really nice name to the area. He went with the name Radison Lake Plaza. Now that name refers to the mall, but I really like the name Radison Lake, and the lake that's nearby the mall, we'll name that Radison Lake, but we can sort of incorporate the entire area surrounding the mall and the lake and call it Radison, like just Radison maybe Radison was like, I don't know, a small suburban town at one point, and it was agglomerated with the city of Timbukton, and the name just stuck. Anyways, I'll let you guys read through Rockin' Randy's comment. He sort of goes into detail on the history of the mall, which I quite like. But we'll just go with the name Radison for like the entire area around the mall. So now, guys, I'm going to begin working on this little commercial strip here on this main avenue, and I'm not going to go into like some really in-depth details. A lot of the buildings that I'm placing down are already pretty well detailed as far as like decals and little subtle details like that. But I think this area is kind of an area of low focus. So it's right by the mall, right? You're going to pay a lot more attention to the mall than you are like generic little stores beside an avenue. And honestly, you can't really tell when you're zoomed out and looking at the city from afar which areas I spent more time detailing compared to others. To me, the most important thing really is if the city looks good from afar. I mean, not really like zoomed out all the way, but I want it to look half decent when you're zoomed out a little ways, and the rest, it doesn't really bother me that much. So yeah, not much interesting things going on in this part of the map specifically. And not only that, I mean, detailing takes time, as you guys know. I want the region to progress at a fair rate. You know, I want this whole neighborhood and maybe some surrounding neighborhoods to be complete very shortly. I don't want the series to drag on forever, as I don't currently have any new projects in the works, guys, but eventually, whether it be by technical issues or just getting bored of the city, I'm eventually going to move on from Timbukton. It may not be this year, it may not even be next year. We might even be in the series for the next couple of years. Nobody knows, but you know, for now, I'd just like the city to progress at a fair rate, and I just want to be able to like zoom out at some point and be like, wow, look at what we've built. But yeah, so anyways, we're about halfway through the episode now. I finished the first portion of the Radison neighborhood, or the borough, or whatever you want to call it, because there's like two parts. It's divided by that railroad that goes right down the middle, and I created like a lush buffer between both neighborhoods, because obviously you don't want to live where there are train tracks running right through your backyard. That's why I thought this buffer was kind of necessary. You know, plop down some trees and things just to deaden the sound a little bit, make it a little bit more comfortable for all the residents. But yeah, this part of the neighborhood is going to be mostly the same. The only main difference is this is where the school is going to be. So right across the street from where I'm working right now is the elementary school. I plan on building a large hospital in the area, probably in the next episode, and a high school eventually, because we're kind of on the outskirts of town where services are a little bit more scarce. And of course, I want all my citizens to have all the essential services they need. Even if I'm not playing the game in its original intent, I still want the city to be as functional as possible. That's why I want to place down hospitals and fire stations and police stations and all those things. But yeah, this neighborhood specifically will house the local elementary school. And I'm actually kind of in the planning stages right now of building the local hospital for like the entire outskirts of Timbukton. It's going to be fairly large, probably one of the largest regional hospitals, I guess, around Timbukton. So you guys can expect a fairly decent project coming up. And other than that, I mean, it's going to be like your average fire stations and police stations and whatnot. And I do, however, go a little bit in depth into detailing this school. Nothing major, really, just a couple of like play sets, some sandboxes and whatever. Maybe a couple trees here and there, nothing too extensive. So I guess the non-ambitiousness of this episode brings me to another topic, and that is a couple of episodes ago when I was working on the Oscar Bay part of town. A few of you commented on that episode saying that you really enjoy that style of episode. So in Oscar Bay, it's very similar to what I'm doing right now. It's just like a residential area, just, you know, your run-of-the-mill neighborhood. Nothing special. You got a couple of schools, your local fire station, just a bunch of homes. No, like, huge infrastructure projects, nothing. It's just your regular neighborhood. And one comment stuck out to me, and the commenter said that, they really enjoyed those styles of episodes because, not every city in the world has these grand plazas and huge, impressive architecture styles and, these major infrastructure projects. Timbukton is just your run-of-the-mill North American city. And when you guys told me that, like, multiple comments were coming in saying that I really enjoy these styles of episodes. They're just, generic, regular parts of town which rarely get covered. And just that there, it kind of stuck with me. And because of that, I'm going to make an effort to, I guess, portray these styles of episodes a little bit more. Because in the past, I've kind of been avoiding them. I always thought that they were kind of boring. You guys probably wouldn't want to see just a bunch of houses being plopped down and trees and the boring stuff. But I thank you guys so much for letting me know on that, because it's true. Like, Timbukton is just a regular city. It's nothing like Toronto or New York or Tokyo or all those like world-class cities. Timbukton's the kind of place where, not everybody knows each other. I mean, it's a little too big for that, but kind of it has like that city-town kind of vibe. That East Coast. It's kind of like Portland, Maine. It's a small city. Nothing like wow about it. But yeah, guys, I appreciate that you really like this style of content. Alright, so as you guys can see at this point, the neighborhood is shaping up quite a bit. I'm just going to finalize a few buildings and details before wrapping up this episode. But I just want to say I thank you guys so much for watching. Next episode, I think, will be a thriller. Well, not a thriller. I mean, there's not much thrilling aspects about City Skylines, but it will be pretty interesting from what I have planned. I think you guys are really going to like it. But yeah, guys, stay tuned for the cinematics coming up in just a second here. And also, once again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this episode, as usual, please give it a good old thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel for many more videos coming up. And also, be sure to check out my Patreon page, guys. That would mean the world to me. if you would like to support the channel. So that is it for me today, guys, and until the next episode, please take care.